since then, our BA fam on YouTube is just so sweet and so positive. So
Yay.
while you're listening, go follow Brown Ambition on YouTube. But let me say hello to my beautiful brown table guests for today. They are familiar faces. We're calling it our 6-month biannual Mama Check-in with Jessica Norwood and Rana Campbell, my two podcast and mama sisters in arms. Y'all have both become pals of mine. Jessica is the co-host of the Sugar Daddy podcast, which she co-hosts with her husband, Brandon Norwood. And we have Rana Campbell, who is the beautiful, delightful host of the Dreams and Drive podcast, and has been doing that for quite a while.
Almost 10 years, like in next year,
Oh my
10 years.
gosh.
Crazy.
I hit my 10-year in September. Like I'm just like a little so I was like, I don't want to make a big deal out of this, but 10 years. Yeah, I haven't been in like the right headspace. I've been talking more about I had depression basically my whole life since I was a little kid, since I was about the age my oldest son is now. So it's just tough. It's been tough, and it's been like exhausting. And so when the 10-year anniversary of Brown Ambition came up, I had plans underway to do things, and depression won that battle. I'm not going to lie. It's had me very isolating myself, and withdrawing. And it's almost like a trick. It's like if I just disappear more and more, and every time, you disappear a little bit more, for me, it was sort of like not a test, but just like a way of validating that idea that, oh, well, it's fine. Like nobody really needs or cares that much if I can just sort of disappear and there's no like big ripples, then I was right all along. It's sad to admit that, but in a way it feels a little liberating. And I was hoping that one of the things we could talk about today is being depressed as a mom, and what a weird relationship those two things have to each other. It's bizarre, but it's also in a lot of ways like my saving grace. My like life raft amidst all this is the fact that I'm a mom, and it forces me to dig myself out of those challenging times. And like even talking about it right now, I'm still like a little uncomfortable. I haven't come out of the depression closet with y'all before, so it's my first time.
I've been thinking about this theme of when you're a mom, that always is going on, right? You can't turn it on and off unless you want to be a bad mom and like, F these kids, right? But for the most part, we all are intentional moms. We all show up for our kids all the time, but at what cost? And how do you, navigate when you're not feeling your best, when you're not always want to be mentally there, but you have these kids who are like, feed me, take me to school, hug me,
Build a
kiss my
magnetile
boo-boo.
tower with me again.
Right?
We do, I think, as a collective, understand like postpartum depression fairly well. Definitely not as well as we could, right? But there's, at least among moms, like postpartum depression, the marketing campaign's been working, girl. Like we're aware, and doctors are aware, your primary care, your gyno is checking in with you. But being in the messy middle of like, mothering adolescents, and they're growing up and they're so aware, and my 5-year-old's so plugged in, and me being conscious of like the kind of environment I was in at his age, and sort of where my depression originated from. It was from growing up in like a really volatile household where I wasn't necessarily the target of anything super traumatic, but I was a witness to it. And my being okay became really essential in my mind. Like I had to be okay. And even as I'm saying this out loud now, I always say like depression's a big liar. It lies, and it tries to tell you that you're not good and that you're toxic, and that like things will go in a bad direction. But even as I'm kind of describing the way that I grew up, I can comfort myself knowing that my son, he's, so present. He's entered consciousness in a very intense way. But I have to remind myself that he's not going to experience what I experienced, and that at least I know that he's going to be seen by me. Like I'm going to see him. And if he starts exhibiting any signs that like I was showing at his age that would have told someone who cared to look that I was depressed as a little kid, he'll have a mama who is so locked in, and at least I'll know I can support him through that. But it's hard to parent a kid at an age when you know that you're like, it makes you, it's like a mirror back, kind of reflecting, making you think about your own childhood a little bit. And yeah, I don't know how to put a bow on that other than just to say that's what I'm feeling sometimes is like, oh, I don't want him to experience what I did. You know that book Grumpy Monkey?
I
No.
should know it, but I don't.
You don't know Grumpy
I'm gonna
Monkey?
have to look it up.
Oh
No.
my God. Grumpy Monkey. It's such a good book about depression without being about depression, but
Mm.
it's a kid's book and it's basically a book about a monkey who feels grumpy. And everyone around him is like, but it's a beautiful day. Don't be grumpy. But look at all these bananas. Don't be grumpy. The gorilla's like, come dance with me. And everyone's means well, but they're trying to stop the monkey feeling grumpy.
Mm.
And at the end of the book, he just gets to be grumpy and then the feeling changes,
Yeah,
you
sometimes
know?
you need to just
Mm,
sit in the feeling
Mm-hmm.
and feel your feels. Yeah. Mm.
Harder to
that's so
practice
true.
them.
I've been feeling like that. I don't, for me, it hasn't been depression manifesting like in that way, but I think, I think we talked about this on our last episode, but my father died last year in November. And so I feel like I've been navigating grief, but not fully grieving because I feel like if I go into the throes of what it means to grieve, as you see on TV and all that stuff, right? Like I just want to, just scream and be alone, but I can't because I have two kids who need me. So I feel for me, it's like, how
Mm.
do I still allow myself to grieve but not lose everything around me? And then like right now I'm dealing with a sick mother. Like for me, I feel like I'm just constantly navigating chaos and trying to like make sure it doesn't land on the kids, right? Like
Mhm.
it's landing on me, it's landing on everybody else, but like I just don't want them to have to feel it. I was watching Chernobyl. This is gonna be this is
Oh,
this is
something light.
have you seen that the HBO
I don't
series?
know, but I know what happened in Chernobyl.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna say this
basically,
doesn't
there's a
sound happy in
character.
rainbows.
Yeah, there's a character who, like, I guess her fetus absorbed all the radiation. She was pregnant, right? So the
Mm.
fetus absorbed the radiation, and it didn't affect the mother as much as it affected her. So I kind of feel like I'm like absorbing everything around the kids so that they don't feel it, but at what cost? And that's really been difficult for me to navigate, like I just feel sad sometimes, right? And I just don't know what to do with it. But I know that I still have to try to make moments of joy for my kids, although I'm feeling sad. And sometimes it doesn't feel fair, but at the same time, it's not their fault. It's like this weird feeling of
Mm.
like, it has nothing to do with them, but like, I just want to be sad. But
You
it's
carry
this
the
weird
extra
feeling.
weight of not being able to just be sad because you're trying to
Yeah,
shield
and I
them
mean, I
from it.
can just be sad, but then they'll be like, "Mommy, what's wrong?" And I'll be like, "I miss Grandpa." Then my
Yeah.
oldest son, who remembers him, will be like, "I miss Grandpa too," and then he just goes down the whole,
Wait, but in our
rabbit
last
hole.
session, Raina, we talked about you finding a therapist.
Oh,
Did you do
I
that?
did, I did, I
Okay.
did. But then she got a 9 to 5, and she's like, "I can't do the therapy anymore."
Girl,
Oh
I'm
my
I
looking for a
feel
new
gosh.
that.
one.
How selfish
I'm
of
looking
her.
for a new one. I guess it wasn't working out for her. She was doing it solo, and
Mm.
someone approach her to work corporate or do something like I think with children, or she works as like in the educational system now. So I'm like,
Mm.
girl, we were just vibing. You just
Yeah.
went
It's
out and
hard
left
being a
me.
therapist.
Yeah, I could
So
not. Oh my gosh,
My
taking
therapist
that.
also got a 9 to 5. I had seen her for
No.
5 years. She saw me through my whole first pregnancy, my first 4 years of my son's life. And then yeah, it was really tough on her. So she like works at a hospital now in the OB, like with new
Mhm.
moms and stuff.
well, at least it's like matched to what she was able to help you with.
Mhm.
But yeah. It did help. Although, I mean, I was still like, maybe we did like maybe 5 sessions, and I was kind of like, what's the point of this? But I was starting to see the point of it. And she was
Mhm.
like starting to help
Yeah.
me like just unpack some things or keep promises to myself, stuff like that. Like she's like, you know what, get your monthly manicure, right? Even if you go during lunch at work, go out, get your manicure, get your pedicure, like little stuff like that that was helping me. But now she's gone, I have to find a new one. So
And
Maybe she can refer you. Yeah.
that's just when you start to they start to know all the characters in the plot, you know? They remember
like, I gotta
names and
tell you all the details.
ugh.
And she got it because she was also Jamaican American, which I think for me was a very important cultural intersection to have like someone who really understood like the nuances of just being a Jamaican American and dealing with parents and dealing, all that stuff. But yeah, I need to
Yeah.
find another one. That's on me, but I did take that
Proud of
takeaway,
you.
take it that serious.
Yeah, that's really good. I wonder, Mandy, I don't have the experience of depression, and thank you for sharing your experience. And, I think we're here for you if you need us and when it feels right. Please let us know how we can support you. But I have like some chronic health issues. They mostly affect my back. And then, if your back ain't right, then you're not sleeping right. And then it's just is this big
Ugh.
spiral of like, well, you didn't sleep. And then you have to wake up and get the kids ready for school. And then, I'm still corporate 9 to 5. So then you're pushing through. And so I have this feeling a lot where I'm like, I'm just surviving every day. I'm just like, I'm not thriving. I'm just making it barely to 8 o'clock the next night, where I can put the kids down and then maybe put myself down. But I am thankful because in those hard moments or when I'm in a flare up or I have, some really tough times where I'm just exhausted and my body aches, I can lean on Brandon and I can tell him,
Mm.
hey, I need you to go 95 today because I've barely got 5% in me. And so he's a wonderful partner in that way. And it always makes me really grateful that I have him as a support to, do all the things that need to be done with the kids. Like he's completely fully capable of, doing Aston's hair or taking her to her therapy sessions or, whatever it might be. At the same time makes me like feel so sad when I think about the women who don't have the support, because
Mhm.
even if you're completely healthy, even if you're not battling any kind of mental health struggles, being a mom is so hard, right?
Mhm.
Like thinking about just the schedules. Oh, now we're coming into fall. We have to change all the clothing sizes. Nothing fits. They have no warm clothes. What about, volunteering at school? And now there's the book fair and I've got to put money on their book fair account. I mean, it's just like never ending. So even if you're thriving otherwise, like the tasks of motherhood can feel so overwhelming that I don't know how people do it without a partner. And I'm just so grateful for mine. And I just want to like give a big hug to all the moms who are doing it alone because I literally don't know how you're doing it. So shout out to the single mom.
Or with partners who are not
Oh, don't even
supportive.
get me started. Where you're like a
Which,
married
yeah.
single mom.
And that's even worse, I
Yeah.
feel like too,
Yeah.
right? Like imagine I know this one
Mhm.
person who was purposely single momming. I think she went through fertility, so she like you got a sperm donor, but she said like her and her group of friends are like a group of single moms who all went through fertility and they did this intentional single mothering, which I kind of wonder of the effects later down the line. But she was just like it seemed more
Mhm.
stressful to have a man who wasn't gonna be there than to have one, than to yeah, that's a whole nother
Facts.
story. But yeah,
I
Only
don't
if
need a
you're
whole other adult in
expecting.
my house. Yeah. If you're not
yeah,
contributing
Yeah. I
nothing.
mean, I think that you expect the pain of that is like you have an expectation for what it will be like and what partnership looks like, and then if it's not living up to that expectation or what you need, and then you're like, but I have this baby now, and it's like such an impossible situation because there's not really like a right or wrong move to make at that point. Either your partner does what it takes to step up to offer that support, which can take a long time to work on that, or you make a move. And my former financial planner, I got a newsletter from her for the first time and I don't know how long, and it really sent me to my knees. Like my jaw was on the floor because she revealed that like for the past 5 years, she's been like really depressed and was having this whole crisis of like confidence, and just like her life was really out of alignment with what she really wanted. And she ended her financial planning practice. She divorced her husband, and her whole life had totally changed. And that is what it can look like sometimes. But that journey to get to that decision when you have kids is really hard. And I think about my own mother. My mom divorced when I was 10 from my dad. She really was a single parent in a married relationship. And I mean, she got rid of him. I'm still stuck with him and his big head and his stubborn ways and not wanting to listen to what his doctors say. But, you know, I always thought she was so brave to do that. And I like worshiped her for it. But I think when you're in that, you worry about what the kids are going to think, and should we keep it together for them? But that there's just no easy right answer. But yeah, to your point, Jessica, my heart is just aching for any woman, whether you're doing it alone or you're together and alone at the same time, and trying to be a mom. It is about just day to day survival,
Yeah.
one day
The
at a
idea
time.
Yeah, that idea of survival is something that I think it's something that a lot of moms aren't talking about enough is like, what are the ways that you're feeling like you're just surviving, right? Um, I was recently there's this conference in New York last week called Black Week. And it's like a week of like different panels and stuff across different venues. I was listening to one with Dr. Joy of Therapy for Black Girls and Tiana Madsen. She's a former track and field athlete. And I asked the question, like, I had saw this quote on Instagram. I don't know how real the quote was, but it was like, working moms have the highest cortisol rate of all like people. They say like a working mom is like equal to like 3 full-time jobs or whatever. So I was just talking to them about like the ways at which like what are ways that we can keep well across the board. But I really thought about it though, guys, and I feel like the idea of just admitting that you're struggling is something that's so hard, especially for us moms, of just like, if I show up in the workplace and say like, guys, I'm struggling, they're gonna be like, well, no one told you to have kids. And I'm like, but no one told me to, like it's this whole,
Mm.
there's this never ending cycle of, you want us to speak up. When we speak up, we're not taking seriously. So is it better to just not say anything and just persevere? And I think a lot of us are just keeping it in, but at what sake? Right. And the biggest thing I'm dealing with, guys, and I'll say it because I think it's public knowledge, like my 9 to 5 company is now moving 5 days in office.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely
In,
not.
in,
Mm-mm.
in,
no.
Unsubscribe.
in,
Delete.
in January.
In
And
January. We call that a soft layoff.
Oh,
well, they
exactly.
did. There's been like stuff that's been happening in the
Yeah.
background. But the thing that a lot of the moms, we've all been whispering to each other, we're like, the ones who haven't, taken the severance package, we're all like, what the right? But
Oh,
no one's saying anything too loud because we all still need our jobs, right? And who do we really like? Who really has our back? And when you feel like there's no one who has your back, you just kind of keep it in. And I'm really worried about a lot of the moms come January who are going to now, like, it's been 5 years since, almost 6 years since COVID. Why are companies now going backwards?
especially if the profit, like, what do the
Mhm.
numbers say? If the numbers say
Yeah.
we're okay, we're doing well, we're maintaining or doing better than before, why? Because when you say 5 days back in office, I hear minimum 10 hours of commute time. That's what I hear. I hear and I physically see like sitting in traffic, wasting time. Oh, that
That,
makes me so
guys,
Paying
is
20
angry.
probably,
paying
I
20,
am,
25 bucks an hour for childcare, you know.
Extra gas.
also, me as a mother, I've always been a mother where first it was fully remote, then it was hybrid, 2 days. Okay, 3 days, pushing it, but I can do it.
Mm,
But the 5 days is just something now where I'm just like, is it fair to them? Like, I'm really nervous for how they're gonna feel because they've only known me as a mother, like, showing up for them after school and having that flexibility. But it's also tough to kind of think about like finding something new, like that's another stress, right? Or
mhm.
going into my own thing
Yeah.
full time, that's another stress. It's really
Mhm.
tough. And these are the things that we're constantly.
You started remote and then they started trickling it in?
Yeah, I started remote because I was hired during the pandemic, so everybody was
So
remote, and then
everybody,
everyone
okay.
returned to office, and then now it's this new mandate of everybody's
You
here.
know why it's happening?
Oh,
Because too many dicks are still running shit. Men are still the top of the totem pole and the top of the pyramid at these places. And as long as men are in power, these policies will continue. Like they're chuckling and they're like, yeah, it's great to have us back in the office. This is great. We can all handle it. I mean,
yeah, because their
there's
wives
just,
are at home cooking, cleaning, folding all the laundry, doing all the grocery
Or their
shopping.
careers are now on hold, right? Or
and they
they're
can
like,
Mhm.
afford, or they can afford the help,
All
to
the
make it
help.
happen. If you're going to ask people, like, if you're going to ask your workers to come in 5 days a week, then, and this is just like, I don't think I can think of a company who does this, but it has to be like a family first company, provide benefits and resources so that
have a daycare in
your
office so I can
people
bring my 2-year-old, you know?
have a
Yes,
daycare,
And
please.
have an aftercare program, bus the kids in from wherever they get in from
Mhm.
school, provide a meal, dinner time, and a bedtime
Yeah.
story and some entertainment.
And
Give a bounce
preferably a
house.
meal I can take home to my family too. Let's be
Yes,
serious. Like, "Oh, is there a grab
100%.
and go station? Thank you. Grab
yeah.
this
Yeah,
on my way out to
100%.
feed my family."
We're
I
giving you a free
know.
Hello Fresh, or no, not even that, like a
Yeah.
meal kit, a meal
Well, yeah,
delivery
because
Yeah.
I don't wanna have to
pre-made.
still cook it. Exactly.
Fuck that. Fuck
But I've
those.
been
Not shopping.
grappling with, and I don't know if you guys feel like this. Do you ever feel like you shouldn't complain? In the sense of like, you have it good and other people have it worse. Like there are people who have like jobs where they have to go in. Like, I mean, let's say you're a nurse, like you have to work in the office, unless you're like a virtual nurse, whatever that is, right? Like there are some career paths that you have to be in the office. And I'm like, oh, there are women who don't have a choice. So is me complaining about this? Like, am I just, but I had to tell myself, no, like this is not the career path that you chose because you want flexibility, or you know that you don't want to be a mom that shows up only for an hour before bedtime. And that's okay. So I've been having to like affirm to myself that your desires are validated, are valid. You deserve to show up. You deserve to be able to be the mom that you want to be and how you want it at that to look. And I've had to kind of like tell myself that, because there's been this voice in my head like, Raina, just do whatever
Mm.
you got to do. But at the same time, I'm like, but why? I don't want to have to just say yes to say yes.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
you answered your own question,
Mhm.
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
of
now
course
it's
I
just
feel that way,
now it's the
girl.
actual figuring it out. It's the figuring
Listen,
out. I'm like, oh, that's just another thing to do, and
Another
finding the
thing to work.
energy, or on top of
mhm,
grieving, or on top of just trying to make sure my 5-year-old doesn't kill my 2-year-old, and the 2-year-old doesn't kill the 5-year-old. You know what I mean? It's just a lot. It's just a
Mm.
lot. How did people do this in the past? And they had more kids. I'm like, how did these
they
moms
lived
of
in the village square,
yeah, it was
in the
different.
little.
The community was different. I think we talked about this the first time.
Mhm.
We did talk about community last time, and I have done my best. I think I have my close mom friends, and as great as like it is to call y'all friends as well, we're not able to help each other really. Like,
Yeah, not physically,
what
yeah.
can we do
Yeah.
for each other
And the
other than,
physicalness is the most important
I
part of
know.
it.
exactly. Can you hold a baby? Can you
Mhm.
pick up, like, if you had a flare up and I was in your neighborhood, I'd bring you soup like I do my friends. And
Yeah.
like, you need those like physical close friendships, but at the same time, I'm what I'm realizing is that like having a baby during during that cold winter of 2020, and also like getting slammed with postpartum depression and like a bunch of challenges, boom, boom, boom. I haven't healed. Dr. Judith, who wrote the book High Functioning Depression, calls it lower T trauma, lowercase t
Mm.
trauma. I haven't really fully healed from that lowercase t trauma. And I think that feeling of being alone and on my own and no one really there, because at the time that I was so deeply isolated, I'm sure y'all can relate. Um, I don't want to feel that way anymore, and I'm feeling that way, but I don't. It's actually like artificial. It's like depression's a liar, and I've been thinking of ways to fix that. Even though I have like my neighbors and I have friends who are mothers, and there's nothing like I have a living mother. I'm so blessed to say that. And I have a sister who adores my kids and a brother who adores my kids and me. And none of us lives in the same place. And I made a personal decision that hasn't become reality yet because it's hard to do, but I'm ready to move close to my mom again. And my mom and my sister are both moving back to Georgia. They've been in the Midwest. And my brother already is in Georgia.
Aren't
And
you from Georgia?
yeah, I'm from
Okay.
Georgia. I've lived in New York since 2010.
I'm hearing family compound.
Yes, family
Like, go run across
compound.
the way, go past the garden and go to grandma's house, like that would be
So
amazing.
that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Um, it's not easy because my husband has work here, but like it's becoming like an emergency for me. Like I actually don't want this life anymore. Like I don't like to your point about surviving or thriving. I'm just surviving every day now. But I think I could be thriving if I was closer to like that and just taking full advantage of, like I said, having a living mother and there's these siblings who want to help but they can't because they're not here.
Mm.
The mother needs mothering. Who mothers the mother?
Yes.
Mhm.
We have both moms here in town. One is like 10 minutes up the road and my mom's about 30 minutes away. And even
Mm,
just being able to drop the kids off on a Saturday or Sunday for a few hours
mhm.
is a game changer. And most of the time, Brandon and I, we want to be better about this. I'm like, oh, could do a lunch date. Like, it doesn't always have to be a dinner date, like,
I was just
but
talking to Enrique that I was like, we could go to Chipotle
yeah,
and
you
leave
could
the
go
kids.
grocery shopping together and then go to Chipotle, like, or get a
Uh-huh.
kava bowl. Like, it doesn't have
We
to
could
be
just
something
drive
fancy. You could
somewhere
just,
and go to
We could
we
just sit
love
in the car.
getting an iced coffee and driving around like glamorous,
make out in the
huge
back seat.
neighborhoods. Girl, ain't nobody got time for
Yeah.
that. We want to look at mansions. But it makes a difference. I mean, most of the time are just doing errands, right? He's editing the podcast. I'm doing
Mhm.
laundry. We're doing yard work. Like we utilize the time to do things that are easier to do when the kids aren't around. But even just not having somebody say, "Mama, mama, mama, mama,"
Mhm.
every 2.5 seconds for a couple of hours,
How
it's a
old are your
game
kids,
changer.
Jessica, again?
6 and 7, just turned 6,
Okay.
and then I guess 7.5 technically. Yeah.
Boom, bam with the 6 and 7.
I know. Well, we had 2 under 2 in the pandemic, and talk about surviving, not thriving, and still
Woo!
not taking care of
And your
past
marriage is still
trauma.
together?
Girl, I
You
know, it's a
guys are.
miracle. I did throw a
He's a good
Cheerio
man,
box at
Savannah.
him once. The only
That's so
time
real.
in 12 years that I've ever done anything like that. And yeah, I lost it and I threw a cereal box at him and he still loves me. So here we are.
I yeah. My
Yeah.
our casualty. Yours was a Cheerio box. We had a casualty. Our Google Home became a
Oh,
casualty.
you threw it across the room?
No, I didn't.
No,
Husband cracked. He cracked.
listen,
He pushed him to the brink.
we're going to put that time into its own special box and it's just going
Mhm.
to live there and we don't need to revisit it
Sometimes,
because whew,
sometimes Rio's like, "Remember the Google Home?" I'm like, "Let's not talk about.
no,
Let's
I
talk
don't.
about it."
What are some
uh,
things that you guys, I know despite, navigating this depression closet, Mandi, Jessica, all of us just trying to figure it out. Like, what are some things that you've been able to find joy in, despite, even if they're little pockets of joy or pockets
uh-huh.
of reprieve?
I was literally thinking about this on the way to daycare drop off this morning was how can I incorporate some joy? Because one of the lies that depression tells me is that I'm not allowed to like take to do something fun or frivolous while there's so much to do and while I have so much to fix
Mm.
in myself that I can't do those things until I'm like in a better place. So this morning I was actively thinking against that and I was like, what is something I can do that would spark a little bit of joy that doesn't involve the crutch of my kids? Because the problem with my children is they're such little joy nuggets that if I'm around them and like we can go to Legoland, I can take them to a trampoline park. I can go to the library. Like I can find little activities where they're joyful, and then that makes me feel joyful. Does that make
Mm.
sense?
But are you finding true joy or are you just finding joy through them? Because again, you're a great mom.
No, that's what I'm saying. So that's
Yeah,
I've
it's not
been
your true joy.
not my true joy.
Mm.
And when I'm like really and I'm in like a really heightened depressive state and my husband will take the kids off somewhere to give me some space, then I'm like, wait, I need my oxygen back. Like
Um,
I don't like it. So I don't really have a good answer. I think, where I think, I don't know what brings joy.
you
I
definitely need to
don't.
find that. But I also it makes me think like my mom, definitely undiagnosed, untreated, I would say anxiety and depression. And so now
Mm,
that my parents, they've been divorced, but my parents divorced after 35 years of marriage, and like my brother and myself and now the grandkids are her entire world, and that's a pressure too that I think is very dangerous because she finds her joy in us, which is, and he
yes.
doesn't live here, but I do. So then who gets the guilt and
Smothering.
the pressure of
Oh,
like,
and that's what I don't want. I'm
right.
so
So
aware of that.
so
Yeah,
I'm thinking of like your future life when the boys are, late high
I
school,
know.
early college, heaven forbid they get married, then it's like if that's your oxygen,
I am not gonna be that mom. Hail to the
right. Well,
no.
but you probably have to work on that now, right?
You're right. Well,
Yeah.
there's things, there's this expression, there's this symptom of depression, or maybe it's not a symptom of depression, but it often comes in line with depression called anhedonia, which is the challenge of like you don't feel things, like you don't feel the joy or the positivity.
Mm.
Things that once brought you joy, you're not deriving pleasure from them. So
Mm.
I found so much joy and comfort in gardening this summer.
Yeah.
I
And
saw that on social media. I was
I
like
know your
jealous. I'm like,
pictures
dang,
look so
how she
great.
get her
thanks.
tomatoes to grow?
Wasn't there a
Mine was
watermelon? Am I making that up?
One singular watermelon,
Oh, she
yes,
was
and
cute.
it didn't taste great, but we grew it.
She was there. That's
The
what
kids
matters.
ate it in solidarity. Um, I did find a lot of joy from gardening, but then the depression, it started to fade. I don't feel it quite as much. Um, and cooking and baking, I haven't been cooking at all. There is that expression I've been thinking about too, which is to feel different, you have to act different.
Mm.
Sometimes the action is first and then the feelings follow. And one thing I did, I went to the grocery store this weekend and I decided to do like a big Sunday roast, like
Mm.
the Brits do it. Um, and I spent like 3 hours in the kitchen cooking and making a meal and just for the pleasure of it. And I felt a little something.
That's so
keep
And
good.
doing it. Make
Yeah,
it
so
put on
maybe
your
a cooking
calendar.
class or something where you can like learn a new
Yeah.
skill or be in community with other people who are like
oh,
I
a cooking class.
I
Yeah.
just got a present for a friend of mine. Again, like, we have what we need. And so I was like, let's do an experience. And so I got us a pasta making class. And so we're going to do like this Italian feast pasta making with like ravioli and Alfredos and all the sauces. And then you like actually sit and eat what you've cooked. And it's a little local veteran woman owned business in Durham, North Carolina. And I'm so excited because I think it'll be so fun. And we're learning a skill that if we wanted to make pasta at home later, hopefully we'll learn it well enough to do that. But maybe something like that.
You're doing that with a friend?
Yes, with two friends. It was one's birthday
Nice.
present, and then it's kind of our little foodie group. So it's going to be the three of us next month.
Doing an activity with friends is something that I have withdrawn from, like in the depression, like I pulled back, but I actually crave it. Like I haven't had like a dinner or drinks with girlfriends in
So
ages.
combine it.
Yes.
Maybe you can do, if
Um,
you want to experience the joy of cooking, could you invite someone over for dinner? Like, hey, next Sunday, I'm going to make something and let's eat it. And then tell your husband to take the kids to another room
Yeah,
or
like a little dinner club, like tiny, like doesn't need to be this big thing because then it becomes exhausting.
you could even do
it's
it
already
virtually if
exhausting
it's,
just thinking about it. But I think going out to dinner and just having I would like to
Oh
just have
yeah.
a really nice cocktail with a friend with no kids around.
Hmm.
It's hard
if
to
it's hard for
find.
scheduling, could you do it during the day? Find like maybe a lunch date with a friend if that's easier. Cause I know for like scheduling at nighttime, sometimes it
Especially
gets tough.
midweek. I know,
I
because these
know.
2 friends that I'm doing the cooking class with, they are married but don't have kids by choice, and the rule is you always have to invite me, but most of the time I'm not gonna be able to come, and so even last night, the text came through of like, "Hey, we're meeting, here at this time. Let us know if you can make it," and it's so hard because then you have the guilt of like, the midweek is chaos, and we just came back from to school from track out and then to leave the kids with, it's just I don't
Yeah,
know. But yeah, make it
you're
happen.
right.
Get it
I
on the
have this
calendar.
weird combination of like I have friends who don't have kids, but they're in the city, and so that's the challenge. But I'm like one of the only work from home moms in my mom group. They're all
Mhm.
busy, and they work and they commute, and um, so sometimes I'm just like I would love to do like a midday thing, but there's not a lot
Yeah.
of people available.
Yeah.
But there can be time. Um, my depression was really bad this weekend, and my one of my dear friends, she has a big important job. She has to go into the city, so there's whenever we get together, it's like rare. It's like once a month, which is actually decent.
That's pretty good, actually, I
Yeah,
would say. Yeah.
yeah, honestly. And she we really both put in the effort, and I um I canceled plans. She had invited me over, and I made it. I said I was sick.
Mhm.
And it's not that bad all the time, but it was a bummer that in that I was just so, and I could have probably told her how I was feeling, and she would have said, "Well, come over anyway." But depression's a liar, and it just told me I was too toxic and too negative to be around anybody in that time. Um, Meanwhile, I did send my son over because her son and my son are best friends,
Oh,
so
well, there you go.
we had a good time. But
Yeah.
that is definitely something I could be adding back into my um, life. What brings y'all joy?
Yeah. For me, it's always travel. So, Raina, when you were saying like, how are you finding like the micro joy? I'm not going to say that I don't find joy in the small doses, because I try to be really intentional about that and like practice gratitude and you know mindfully say like, here are 5 things today that I'm grateful for, even if I woke up in a mood or if my body's hurting or whatever it might be. But I really love
Mm,
looking forward to a vacation. And so, like, again, because we have 4 sets of grandparents, we are able to travel with the children and without them. And so, like, next
mm,
month, Brandon and I are going to St. Lucia. It was supposed to be my 40th birthday trip from the spring, but because Brandon tore his Achilles, we had to push it. And so I've been waiting for this trip for like
mm.
months and months. And then I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh, it's next month. Like, I'm so happy to get a couple of nights away where I don't have to do anything. I don't have to lift a finger. I don't have to make a bed. I don't have to empty the dishwasher every morning at 7 a.m. I don't need to,
Ugh,
run the vacuum cleaner after every meal because the kids don't know how to eat over their dang plates. Like,
just
so,
deciding what to eat every
oh my
so
gosh,
many
don't get me
times a
started.
day.
Oh
Another
boy.
meal? I have to decide.
It's either
That's
that or my son is like he's like literally addicted to goldfish at this point. Like he like will have a full on
that's
tantrum breakdown if I deny him goldfish and I'm like, "Great, he's an addict. Okay, here we are."
they're made to be addicting.
I know,
They
and he literally is. And it
But
boils my
that's
blood.
so I'm so excited for you. I haven't had a vacation. My husband and I took a vacation in August together. It was a marriage resuscitation week because girl, we
Mhm.
was on life support. And it was so needed. But in order to accomplish that, I had to fly my children to St. Louis, fly
Mm.
back the same day,
Oh my gosh.
and then do it again 2 weeks later. And it was so expensive. And we can't recreate it
Mm.
easily. But when
Yeah.
we're in a family compound, I look forward to that
What
day.
if, I mean, even aside from the family compound, like we have a friend, they
Mhm.
will fly the mom in. They're in North Carolina. They fly the mom in from Tennessee. So they cover her flight or do it with points or miles or however they can get it done. But that way you're not taking, I mean, who wants to be at an airport twice in one day to like drop your kids off and then, is there anything that you could do like that? Like if you flew your brother in or your sister in, and then they stay with you because I also find that the kids do better if they're in their beds, they have their toys, they have their environment. And then also, we typically travel during the week so that the kids are in school when possible. So then that way it kind of alleviates some of the burden on the
Mm,
grandparents, because being with the kids kind of 24/7 is a lot. But if they're
yeah.
going to school for a big chunk of the day, then as long as they get them out on time, do their lunches, and then they can do the nighttime routine, but they get a nice, 7, 8 hour break during the day, I think it really helps them. Because again, of course, our parents are my parents are mid 60s, mid and late 60s. So giving
Hmm.
them a little bit of a break during the day really helps them. But that's kind of how we've been able to travel and make it work and have people come stay with us and our kids.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Unfortunately, it hasn't been able to work out. As someone's either got a health issue or they have a partner. Like there's just
Mhm.
complicating factors. So them coming here, it's rarely like
Yeah.
um an easy thing, and like it's more comfortable for them to be in their space. And like
Yeah.
fortunately my boys have a really good time when they're like at my mom's. But then to justify it, you do have to make it a long trip, and so it's like
Hmm.
2 weeks, and that's too much for me. I had to miss them
Yeah.
babies.
But it's good to
um
Right?
miss them.
When you want to be away from them, but then when you're away from them too long, you're like starting to itch. I'm
But
like,
I think
no.
that's healthy because usually at the end of our vacations, we're like, oh, we're ready to see the kids.
Yeah, we did a mini trip with the kids, but we haven't done like my family, we haven't, me and my partner, we haven't really done as much like solo traveling. We went to a wedding once. That was like a 2 night thing, which was fun. That's when my dad was alive. My dad, life before my dad was here, life
Mm.
after, right? Uh it was easier, and it's like just it was a nice, like I feel like 2 days, a nice weekend away is like a nice recharge for me. The things that have brought me joy, um I've been dancing again. I used to be like a really big
Mm.
dancer. Like in college I danced before the babies. Actually, the reason why I have my son is because I went to a heels dance class, and after the heels dance class I was like, let me try these moves, and
Oh,
9 months later,
Okay.
uh,
I
so
don't
oops.
know that
I've
that's
been,
the advertising they were going for, but
beware. Um,
right.
uh, I've found I haven't been able to get to a dance class, but just turning on music. Like the other day, I just had a dance party in the living room, and my kids were looking at me like I was crazy, but then they started dancing with me. Like I was still dancing
Mm.
by myself, but it was just fun to kind of just like get moving. I think for me,
Mm.
movement has brought me joy. I used to be a really big mover. Like I used to run, I used to do so much, and I just feel like that movement part of me hasn't been prioritized because it's always
Yeah.
like I don't want to go on a walk with the kids all the time, right? But like at the same
Yeah.
time, getting them out the house or getting them to the park or pushing their stroller around the lake is good for them. So I think that I can kind of get them, kill two birds with one stone, but at the same time it's not the
Good for
same.
them,
But
but
when
stressful for me. You're not
yeah, it's like it's
Yeah.
present.
not the same walk. So I've been
Mhm.
trying to like maybe the next step is after work or before I go home, take a dance class in the city or something like that. Like that might be a way
Mhm.
to alleviate um or to bring more joy. Cooking has been a big one for me. And I was going to talk about the act of like mirror neurons. Have you guys heard of the idea of mirror neurons?
Oh.
When you see someone doing something that you desire, you can kind of have that feeling yourself. It's kind of how social media works. Like it's like the dopamine hit that
Mhm.
you get when you see someone like going on a trip. Like why do we watch these shows?
Mhm.
Because we kind of secretly desire that life in some way.
Mm.
I've been doing that with cooking videos. I'll watch chefs like just cooking, and it brings me this joy where I feel like I'm the chef cooking myself. So I don't know, maybe that could be a way of tricking my body into more joy. But it's been inspiring to me to just like watch these videos, and then in my head I'll try to recreate it. Like I make everything a scene. My friend told me, I have a friend who she should be clinically depressed by just her life, right? But she
Mm.
gave me this hint. She was just like, I'm delusional. I just tell myself delusional shit that is probably not true, but just the act of like saying it out loud, like I'm living a grand, fabulous life. I have a huge kitchen. I'm making all these things. It might sound like creative, fanciful thinking, but for her, it's just like faking the joy a bit of or speaking the joy into things that might seem mundane.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
No, that makes so
even the
much sense.
commute.
Yeah.
The
Well,
commute into work is so boring. But
mm,
what I like to do is I'll people watch and I'll write it down what I see. Or like I'll overhear conversations and I'll just write it down and I'll use that as a creative prompt for my write in. I'm like, all right, I heard this person gossiping about this. Like there was this one lady who was talking to her nanny about how her barbecue chicken better be done when she's home. And I'm like, oh, that could be a cute like start
Oh,
to
the
a movie.
life.
Like I'll just
right.
use
What a life.
stuff as inspiration. I try to find the joy around me when I can't find the joy in me sometimes. Oh,
I
that
love
could be a
that.
good quote, Mandy.
That is a good quote. But they say that your brain doesn't actually know the difference between like reality, like truth and lies.
Mhm.
So like you do need to lie to yourself. You do need to say like
I'm believing a lot of negative shit. That's
ex-
depression.
yeah,
I
yeah.
could just choose to believe
You need to change
positive
that
shit.
and exactly and lie to yourself. And we
Just
do a lot
it's
of that.
hard.
Yeah.
It creates like this it creates like a bulletproof um screen in front of me. People's positivity, it just can't, it's hard to get it
Mm.
in. Like it's like trying to get to the center
Well,
and,
then leave everybody else's positivity, but just like lie to yourself positively. Like
yeah.
start talking to yourself about
Delulu is the Salulu.
yeah, like
Yeah.
your delusional family compound that's going to be incredible, and like the garden in the middle that everybody's going to be participating in, and you're going to completely live off of the land and grow your watermelons.
Start making a mood board, Mandy. Can you do like a mood board that you have in your office space where you're like
Mm.
starting to plan it out? Like, put a little garden on the side on one
Affirmation
side.
board, yeah,
No, it
yeah.
it certainly can't hurt. I think we should set some goals because I think we should do this call again. Maybe not in another 6 months, but sooner. But I think if I was going to set a goal, my goal would be don't be depressed anymore. But that's not realistic. Okay, my goal is to do a thing that find something that brings me joy that can get through the bulletproof depression
Mm,
glass and can bring me some joy. And I think your cooking class idea might be a good one. But even if it's like
fun.
a cocktail with a friend or just baking something ridiculously intricate, because I like Great British Bake Off. I always wanted to, I make like a character cake for my kids' birthdays, but I could just do one for the heck of it.
Oh my
I could
god, they
just,
would love it.
Or
Yeah,
yeah.
do one
good.
for
I'm not even gonna,
you. Do
don't
one
even
for you.
sneak
They
any
don't even have to
zucchini in it
know
or
about it.
nothing.
Right. Shred the carrots, Mandy. Shred the carrots. Yeah. No, this is for you.
I
It's
like
not for the
that.
kids, remember?
A weekly joy. Daily sounds like too much. Isn't that sad? Daily joy is too much. Maybe once a week, but try to find my joy activity.
I was gonna say something X-rated, but I think we have. I'll tell it to you after the
What?
this
Oh,
podcast.
now I want to know. Oh my goodness.
What? Please.
Does it involve the heels?
No, it could involve heels.
Next time we call, we're just gonna be like,
Maybe
"Well,
you
I'm
might need
pregnant."
to get a dopamine fix in another way. Maybe a self dopamine fix. Put that into
Oh,
your
Oh,
routine.
like
Get
masturbate
some.
more.
Yeah, get some
Oh,
toys. You know what's funny? I never told anyone this. So if you're listening to this and you listen to my podcast, this is gonna sound so weird, guys.
ooh, advertise it. Go.
I used to like if I had a bad day at work because before when I used to early in the podcast days, I used to only record after work, which is like 7, 8. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how I got people to record with me 7 and 8 o'clock at night. Anyway, that was a different time. I used to like sometimes masturbate before an interview just to get like a little like, ooh, I'm the bombdiggity.com before I did.
Sounds healthy. It
it does
sounds
sound
healthier than
very
taking a
healthy.
bump of cocaine.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
well,
I mean, if
that
we're
was my bump. That was my I had little pocket vibrator and I'd be like, all right, now I'm good.
and you're like good to go. Oh my gosh, that's
I'm kind
so
of jealous that you could just like turn it on like that. I need to buy myself
Just
I
dinner
love that
first.
some people are like, I do a 5-minute Superman stance before, and you're like, I'm gonna take a different
I
approach.
gotta rub one out real quick.
buzz 3 minutes and I'm
Oh my
done.
gosh,
Now I'm ready. So I
that's
mean maybe like
healthy.
find a little like fake
Yeah.
cocaine
Mm.
moment for you that can get that.
No, you're right. Well, I do have the box of gummies. That's just for mommy, obviously. And I have found that to be like if I'm really struggling with anxiety, I'll take a a little gummy. But
Those
yes,
make my
self-love
heart
is
palpitate so much. I can't do it
I'm never,
anymore.
ever, 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 ever gonna try edibles again. I had a really bad
Oh,
experience.
no.
Yeah, not great for me
Oh,
either.
no.
4 hour I can't get out of my mind experience because I
Oh,
had an
no.
event and someone gave me a cake pop and they told me to eat it in nipples. It was not nipples, in nibbles. It was a sponsor, and like she provided like the people at my event like edible, like it was like cookies and cake pops. I didn't know that meant you take a little portion of the cake pop. I ate the whole cake pop.
That's a weird thing to expect someone to portion out. Like, how do you can't slice a cake pop. And then where do you put it when you're not nibbling it? Put it in your pocket? Just get a little
I
nibble
didn't
every
know that, and I'm
And like
just like
Oh,
wrap
I
it
yeah.
back up.
that life is not meant for me. It scared me. I said never again. I felt like I'm like, is this how crackheads become crackheads? And they're trying to convince people they're normal. Like in my mind, I was like, this is
Yeah, I
not
get
me.
super paranoid.
No,
I
no, no.
can't
You
do
have
it.
to do a reputable, brand
Not a
that's
homegrown
like
person.
no, no, no. Yes, and food that people bake with butter, none of
Oh,
that shit. Like, we
yeah.
need, like, very well portioned, like and you're right to your
Mhm.
point, like, you should be careful and, like, it's definitely
Yeah.
not it took me a while to find something that actually could take the edge off a little bit, but now that I found it, and, it's like a woman, she's Filipina. She makes them herself. They're so delicious. And then there's some that don't have THC, they just have CBD, and there's some that have a combination of both. And it's like you can like you have to know how many milligrams you can take, or what is it,
Mhm.
MCGs? What does that stand
Yeah,
for?
micrograms.
I don't
The
know.
dosing and all that.
Mhm. Have you ever
Anyway,
done the drinks?
I have not tried a drink yet. Yeah, no, I
I'm gonna
haven't.
have to get my brother to send you. He like partners with this company. It's a friend of his owns the company, and he has multiple CBD type stores and dispensaries and stuff. And I don't know if it's got THC, but it's a strand that's like happy, and so it's meant to be a
Mm.
social drink. And it's called Nine Dot. I'll send you the link, and people love it. Again, it's not my thing because I just don't like that feeling. But it's supposed to like make you just super giddy and happy and like, you know, not like emo out.
It's that the whole conversation is like a good one to have, like, again, where we can do it more in depth, because
Hmm.
I don't want to become reliant on anything, and I don't want to like mask. I want to work on healing so I'm not as depressed, right?
Yeah.
Actually move through it rather than trying to numb through it.
Hmm.
And I think, like, during like really acute moments, if I can't sleep or if it's like really, really intense, a gummy once a week or once every other week, whenever, I can. But yeah, I don't want to, because I'm so like the depression is like more rampant now. I'm just a little weary of like, I want to like, yeah, I want to like see my therapist and, you know, I'm also in a weight loss program. I'm getting a CPAP machine because girls got sleep apnea, like doing all these.
Mandy, can I tell you something? And it
Yeah.
is, you are doing it. Like you give yourself a hug. Like, like you
Doing
are
so much.
just
I
just even by talking
can't say
about
mama
this,
didn't try hard. Mama's doing
like you are
everything,
doing
every
it,
tool in the toolkit, baby, every single one.
and
I'm
that's so like
trying.
courageous of you, and that's so commendable, and like it's gonna work out for you. Like this is, how I know no one. I don't like to like say cliche things, but like there's that saying like this too shall pass, and I think
Mhm.
because you are doing the work for it to pass, like it's going. There is gonna be light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm giving you a
Hmm.
virtual hug because I just wanna.
Yeah.
I could hug you.
Yeah.
I
Thank
give you a hug.
you.
And
Hmm.
someone listening in right now who may be feeling like you, maybe may be able to like to understand what one of us is going through as well. Like this is the work. Just talking about it is the biggest thing, and so many people aren't talking about it. So just by allowing us to have this conversation today, you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping whoever's listening to this as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're helping people not feel alone in what they're battling with, which is so important, especially when things in today's world feel so isolating. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. They say motherhood is like the biggest party that you feel the most alone at, right?
Well, it's hard to feel alone with you ladies, and thank you for your vulnerability too, and Jessica, and whether it's like a chronic, like physical pain. I mean, that is so real, and anything that's messing with your sleep, girl.
I was like, I got to do something. I'm already doing all the other things, all the physical therapy, all the injections, I'm like, all right, let's change the mattress. But yeah.
I hope it works. Just
Thank
anything.
you.
And I send that love right back to you all too, Raina. Whatever you decide about that damn job and this
Mm,
commute and that 5 days a week, I'll be thinking about you. But I hope you're somewhere dancing.
Yeah.
yes.
Maybe that
But
can
I
ease
will
it.
not end up pregnant again. Okay, guys. That's not it.
During my
Mm.
deepest depression, sometimes I think, could I have another baby and feel better?
Oh
Is that the most
It's
no.
lying to
diabolical?
you.
That's
Depression
wild.
is a liar.
That's
Hell no,
girl.
another baby ain't
Get you
gonna
an
fix.
IUD while you still can. Listen. Mm-mm.
Oh.
I will say, although we say our children shouldn't be the only thing that brings us joy, I am so happy I have them. Because
Mm.
imagine if you didn't. I sometimes think about, like, I know that I use them for, that little joy spike that you need sometimes, but if I didn't have them, damn, this shit would probably be even tougher. Like,
I don't
you
agree
know,
with that. No. Mm-mm.
okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
But
I
we'll
just
save it
say
for our
that
next
because I'm just like,
conversation.
Very, very happy
You'd be
also.
very well rested. Your bank account
oh,
would
yeah,
be
that is true.
stacked. I wouldn't
Yeah.
That
have
is
these
true.
black circles under my eyes that I literally cannot get rid of.
But you know
Yeah.
what? For the sake of society, we mothers we still need people to want to be mothers so that,
Just
Yes.
you
life
Good
can
can't
go
point.
go
on.
there. You can't go to the what if they weren't
I
here.
know.
You
I
can't,
know.
because that's
Yeah.
just, you can't take that Pandora's box has been
I'm happy
opened.
that they're here because they
Yeah.
do provide me at least for the life I'm in now, something to motivate me, even if
Mm.
I am using them as, probably shouldn't always use them as joy crutches, but I'm
But
gonna
as long
take
as
it.
it's reciprocal, like you're
Yeah.
giving, like there's that, that the truth is when you give and you're doing something that's outside of yourself, like it feels good to be the giver. And as long as you're giving and receiving and it's reciprocal, then I don't think it's toxic.
My son said something to me the other day, and I'm like, whoa, this is so weird. So, like, I always say to him, I know my son, right? Like, if I know that he's doing something he shouldn't, I'd be like,
Mm.
Axel, I know my son. And so I was telling him about how I really want to make this recipe. And he was like, Mom, you're just going to watch a YouTube video on how to do it. Then he was like, I know my mom. And I was like,
Ah, he got you.
Oh,
That's so
and
cute.
so just those moments, they just make, they make it worth it.
wait,
Mhm.
so I have my goal. Did you all want to set a little personal goal before we reconvene in the future?
I don't know that I have anything. Not that I don't have goals, but I feel like my goals are, they're more work related, which is like not
Mhm.
fun. And I don't feel like that's the vibe of our conversation. So I'm going to keep mine to myself today.
What
But if
about
I
the
come up,
mattress? When does that get here?
oh, I've been sleeping on it for maybe a month and a half now. And I do notice a difference, but it's hard to truly
Mm.
feel a difference when you're just like in so much pain. But I literally had an epidural shot in my spine this morning.
Oh, a nerve block.
So hopefully, steroid, not a block, but
Oh, okay.
hopefully it'll just give me the relief that I'm looking for. The last injections that I got did little to nothing. So that was $483 almost down the
Yeah.
drain.
Um,
Today we'll see the $363 if those do anything. And then from there, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, hopefully the next time we have this conversation, I will be feeling more like myself and feeling more rested and less in pain. That is for sure the ultimate goal.
I'm praying for
Yeah.
that for you.
Thank
And you
you.
have a
I'm
wonderful
hoping
vacation in
Thank
St.
that goes
Lucia.
well as well.
Yes. Yes.
My goal would be, I think it's also like returning to little moments that defined Raina before kids. So like getting those weekly or monthly pedicures, dancing again. I booked a style consult with this like professional stylist early
Ooh.
today. Just because I feel like visually I'm not showing up how I want to show up as much anymore. I think the bigger goal is spend money on the things that bring you joy. Because I can be a cheap joy finder where there are some things you just
Yeah.
need to spend money on. Like,
Mm.
you really want to work with a stylist, just pay the money, Raina. Like,
Yeah.
don't hold on to the money just because you're trying to always save, save, save. I know, my financial girlies will tell me I need to stick to a budget. I have, and I think
No,
I think if
value-based
you're not,
spending. Value-based
yeah.
spending.
So I think that's the
Mm.
big thing for me is like, don't be afraid to spend the money to make life happier, easier, more joyful. Like some days I'm like, we get in takeout today because that's
Mm-hmm.
it might cost more for budget grocery wise, but it just makes sense for our peace of mind as a family, right? And they're not gonna eat it anyway, so why am
Oh,
I slaving over a meal that they're not even gonna eat?
No, my
So
husband and I get takeout.
so
Screw the
true.
kids. They're not going to eat
Yeah,
it. I'll
they can eat
make
their
you a
goldfish.
PB&J.
Goldfish and strawberries. Eat some fruit. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see how you show up on the next call, Raina, in your new
we'll
style.
see. We'll see. I said I booked it. I didn't say I booked her. I booked the
Oh,
consult,
The
but
call.
okay.
it's not the actual session.
We'll
So
report
Well, speak
that.
for yourself. This is my BJ's. No, this is Kohl's. Where is this plaid? Little top from Finest. No, but to that point, yeah, spending some time investing in yourself and the
Mhm.
way you look and present it matters, even if you got nowhere to
yeah,
go.
Yes.
Um,
exactly.
Mm.
Thank y'all so much for letting me come out of my depression closet and surprise you with that. And
Do we
Surprise.
have a
hopefully
call to
the
action for the listeners, Mandy? Do you have a call to action? Should they chime in on what they are doing? Maybe
oh,
that can be the call to action for this episode. Like, moms, what are you
Mm.
doing to, what's your goal? What's your joy goal for this month? Or what's your
Mm.
joy goal for the end of the
yeah.
year?
Love
That
that.
could be a good
Or
call to
what's your
action.
struggle if you just want to share? Like, what is it that you're going through that maybe you don't feel like you can really acknowledge because you're doing for the kids and for the family, and just like Raina, you opening up about grieving your father's passing, and Jessica, your chronic pain and my depression. Like, everyone's got something that we are like an inner life
Mm-hmm.
that's not always the most positive, but maybe saying it out loud. We can be that safe space for y'all. And of course, BA fam, you can always reach out to me, brownambitionpodcast@gmail.com. But if you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment, put your business on the internet. Why not? Everyone
Why
else does
not?
it. Or DM me at Brown Ambition Podcast on IG. And where can they find y'all? Sugar Daddy Podcast, I think
Yep.
on IG, right?
Yep. At the Sugar Daddy Podcast. And we did just get our blue check. So dismiss any of the
Oh,
other ones, please. They're not real.
verified.
You can find me at Dreams and Drive, but my personal is Rain, Rain, Shine, ShineLuv, love. It's funny because that's been a motto my whole entire life. You always have rain in life, good times. You always have bad times, rain, right? Good times, shine, and love. Like, think of those things. Those are three constants in our life. So if we accept that we're all going to be going through cycles of life, and it just makes this journey a little bit better.
Mm.
I'm just gonna
Seasons.
just accept that we're grumpy monkey, and that's
I'm going to
okay.
find that book. Yes. Thank you for
You
mentioning that.
really must. It's so good. I
Yeah.
love it. All right, y'all. Be well, BA fam. Until next time, take care. Bye.